This podcast is brought to you by the Alien Soda Company, your connection to pop culture and paranormal themed merch. AlienSodaCompany.shop for all things out of this world.
All right, fellow searchers, have you heard of one of America's oldest unsolved mysteries? Let's talk about the lost colony of Roanoke on the Paranormal Mind podcast.
I like this one.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Paranormal Mind podcast. Jesus, God, you and your damn sound effects. Welcome to the Paranormal Mind podcast. We appreciate you listening to our hilarity and whatever else that we...
Whatever you call this.
All right, so let's jump into this podcast. So the lost colony of Roanoke, it all started back in August of 1587.
It was a good year.
When a group of 115 English settlers landed on Roanoke Island off the coast of what we now know as North Carolina. These colonists were trying to form the first permanent English settlement in the New World, but things didn't quite go according to plan. So let's talk about that. So John White, the governor of the colony, had to head back to England for some supplies, but as luck would have it, a huge naval war broke out between England and Spain.
What luck?
Yeah. Queen Elizabeth I had to call on every available ship to take on the Spanish Armada, leaving White stranded in England for years. It wasn't until 1590 that White was finally able to return to Roanoke, where he had left his wife, his daughter, his infant granddaughter, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Americas, and the rest of the settlers 3 long years before. But when he arrived, there was no trace of the colony or its inhabitants. All he found was a single word carved into a wooden post. And what was that word?
Croatoan.
That's right. So over the centuries, investigations into the fate of the lost colony of Roanoke have continued. So again, investigations into the fate of the lost colony of Roanoke have continued, but no one has been able to solve the mystery. Some people think the colonists were killed or abducted by Native Americans from the nearby island of Croatoan. While others believe they tried to sail back to England on their own and got lost at sea. There are even some theories that suggest that the colonists met a bloody end at the hands of Spaniards who had marched up from Florida, or that they moved further inland and were absorbed into a friendly tribe. And get this, in 2007, they started to collect and analyze DNA from local families to figure out if they are related to the Roanoke settlers, local Native American tribes, or both. Regardless of what happened, one thing is for sure.
I want to know what the results of that was.
Results? Inconclusive?
It's inconclusive. Like
because they had no DNA to go.
To go off of. I mean, that's stupid.
Right. So regardless of what happened, one thing is for sure. The lessons learned at Roanoke may have helped the next group of English settlers who would found their own colony 17 years later, just a short distance to the north at Jamestown.
Yeah, they learned stay strapped.
Yeah. We're coming back with guns this time.
So anyway, let's talk about this. So this whole lost colony of Roanoke stuff, we were talking about this before the podcast, but we were going to do a series. Me and Josh were way before Ray was in the picture. We were going to do a series. I was writing a screenplay about it, and it was pretty cool. Like the screenplay was good. Everything was going along. And then like we do with a lot of projects, we just let it go.
we moved on
to something else. But it's always fascinated us because, like we said, it's inconclusive. You don't know what happened. We just know that 115 people seem to have vanished. There's no trace of them.
I mean, it's a fascinating, story anyway, especially like if you're into the paranormal and into like strange and weird stuff. Like you almost have to know this story, right? I mean,
this is probably like the most infamous missing person story.
Yeah, that TV show Supernatural did a whole thing with it.
There's a whole season about it of American Horror Story.
Yeah, right. Roanoke.
So
it's fascinating. I mean, it truly is.
And like, you're never really going to know what happened. So
no, I think
you can only theorize.
Now.
Yeah, it's in the 1500s, so it's just one of those things you can't really go back. Well, we were talking about the DNA stuff. There's nothing to really compare it to.
What are you comparing it to?
Unless you find some artifact somewhere where somebody had written something.
They probably all got chopped up and thrown in the river.
You think that was the likely?
I mean, they got murdered.
I think it was probably two things. Like, they were probably being received. We're getting a lot of violent attacks by the Native Americans
or Spaniards
or any number of things. Or
they could have been caught in the middle of two other tribes fighting.
I mean, you don't know. And I think remainder of that colony probably did freak out and was like, we got to go. And then they died. Like out in the water somewhere. Yeah,
it's just one of the least likely theories that I talked about was they were absorbed into another colony.
No.
Very unlikely.
If that was the case, you would think that there would be some of them that would, or at least a couple that would try to go and find, who was it, John
White. And there'd be a historical trace of that. There would be writings and stuff.
Yeah, somebody would have
recovered by now.
Said something.
But it's sad, too, to think about 115 perished.
It is. But
if that's the case, every single one of them were either murdered or lost at sea or whatever.
Yeah. A lot of them probably got really sick when they came here too. So coming to
that's a possibility as well. Yeah,
your people don't think about that, but your immune system's not set up to deal with.
A lot of things can happen in 3 years.
Yeah, with strange places, and this was like brand new to them back then. Now we all travel, and so like. It's all become kind of a...
Yeah, but their travel compared to our travel now is completely different.
Completely different.
Like, it took months and months for them to get to a destination.
Yeah. They weren't exactly clean.
This could have been like a Donner Party situation where they tried to move on and then they ended up having to eat each other. And
but wouldn't there be some sort of trace of that? The only thing that John White found was something on
maybe they were going. Maybe that's where they were going.
And maybe they tried to go there and died between A and B.
Yeah, but again, John would have probably searched. Wouldn't he have found some trace of them if they were headed that way?
I mean, if they fell, if they drowned and died like out in the water, man, it's like
that's
unbelievably
their bodies
impossible
got carried
to
off
find.
By wild animals.
I mean, it could be. There's so many things that are out there under the water in the ocean that like we'll probably never find.
Yeah.
Now this is the paranormal mind. Do you have any theories of anything?
You want me to say aliens
of a paranormal nature that could have happened?
Could have been aliens.
I mean, I guess it could have been.
We might as well say that. I mean, hell, we talk about the paranormal mind. Lately, we've been talking about true crime and some other stuff.
Bigfoot.
I mean, hey, that's true.
So it was North Carolina?
Yeah. Everything was wooded back then, too.
That would have been some shit.
Yeah. I mean, like, imagine you just see like an 8 foot tall.
I mean, they could have just been.
Why are we laughing about this?
It's because
is it any stranger than finding Native Americans here, though? I mean, that's the reality back then.
I guarantee you there was some weird shit.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I'd get freaked out by finding anything that was living there. I mean, there's probably bears, deer that they've never seen before, dude.
Yeah, and I think, I bet you John White was kicking himself for even leaving in the first place.
Bet he was like, whew.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Dodged a bullet.
I dodged that one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, but you got to think about his wife, his infant daughter, the granddaughter.
Yeah, but back then they only cared.
It was fine.
They only cared a little bit?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're really going that route?
I mean, I'm just
Life
saying.
retention wasn't very successful back then.
The fact that she survived childbirth is
a miracle.
He's
probably like,
Guller.
I mean, it's true.
Heartless.
Yeah,
it's true. They didn't have the like luxuries that we have now to like sanitize stuff. Like,
and the medical was
non-existent, basically. Oh, this is infected. Let me cut it off. We'll see if you survive. Yeah. We'll see if it all flushes out on the end.
Yeah, it's just these stories fascinate me. Are there any? And I should have done more research with this, but What? Well, I'm the only one sourcing it.
Oh, shut up. I got one job.
Well, what do y'all do? Y'all just comment on whatever I source.
That's our job. That's our job. We're good at it.
And drink beer. I want your job then. Shit.
Nope. That's us. That's our job.
All right. So anyway, like, is there any newer case of like a missing person to that degree or a missing group of people that you can think of? I should have.
I don't think so.
Sourced that a little bit more, but anything since Roanoke?
I don't think on a mass scale.
On a mass scale like that. No.
I mean, we just covered that ghost blimp where they just randomly disappeared and nobody knows what happened. I mean, people disappear all the time.
What is the past one? The divot.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't remember the name.
Go ahead and pronounce that. Pronounce it for me. Yeah.
Delatov.
Yeah.
Something.
I don't
do you
even
know what it
you're
is?
talking about.
You'll know what it is when we say it.
Bear with us.
Yeah, saying words is
Stand
harder than it looks, huh?
Words is hard.
Sorry for this dead air.
Hey, no,
come on, somebody do something.
We'll go ahead and talk about
we're
Alien
talking.
Soda Company, who is our new sponsor, who has graciously sponsored us, and they have really awesome, cool products. If you go to aliensodacompany.com, they run an independent Etsy shop. They have lots of really cool like pictures, shirts, coffee mugs. They just released this new watercolor like spaceship shirt that's really dope.
We've got a shirt that's hanging up right beside Josh right now, or right behind Josh.
Yep.
One of their designs, which is pretty cool. You can go to their website and use the discount code SEARCHERS for 10% off every time you order.
And if you can't order, guess what? Go support them on social media. They're on all platforms. Alien Soda Company.
Yeah, and just share their stuff. So that way, if you have other people, friends, family, whatever, that are interested in stuff like that, they can go and check it out and buy some merch.
That's how the world goes.
That
around.
is one way we want to support them, is we want to drive people to them to show them that we appreciate them and their support of our show.
So did you find it?
Yeah.
All right, what is it? Go ahead. Pronounce
Diet
it.
Love Pass.
Diet Love Pass.
Oh.
You know it, huh?
Diet Love Pass.
Yeah. Must be nice to use. It must be nice to use that.
Got him.
Diet Love Pass.
Hey, AI is getting great, so I just need to.
Oh my God, I'm worried
I need
about
to input
this.
everything that I type and put it in an AI thing with my voice.
I'm convinced they're going to take over the world.
And then just lip sync it. Like, just.
Humans are not responsible enough to create AI. No, we're going to destroy ourselves, guys.
So I've seen some examples lately. Dave SCHRADER was showing me some stuff where one of his producers, one of the people that help him, used like clips of his voice and wrote out a script, and it was Dave's voice. And it sounded like Dave was just saying something. It didn't sound robotic. It didn't. I mean, it is scary.
Mesh
it
that.
Is scary.
Mesh
dude.
that with the fact that Twitter now is taking away like verification marks if you're not paying for them. Oh, it's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and you know what? Oh, Elon Musk is doing now. So he's paying for these celebrities, these celebrities that have been criticizing him and saying, "I'll never pay for the check mark." He's been paying for it for them. So it's showing that they are subscribed to Twitter Blue and they provided a phone number. But it's him trolling the living hell out of them.
So everybody go on Twitter and tell Elon Musk to pay for our...
Yeah. For real. And for just a small fee of $1,000 a month.
That's it. That's small.
We can be verified organization and we can have a gold check mark, guys.
Yeah, gold check mark.
That's what I want.
And you know what that'll get you? Nothing.
No, I think it will. If you're paying, $1,000 a month, I think it will.
$1,000 a month. You know what? Elon Musk better come here.
Yeah.
And give
He better be at this table on our podcast.
No, I think it would get the reach up there, but as us having the money.
What is that?
What does that equate to? Yeah. Business.
It can. It absolutely can.
It'll pay for itself.
Yeah. If it's not paying for itself, then
I think it would. I think it would. I think like the reach would be better.
So when y'all see a gold check mark on Shane's name,
you know how much it cost him.
You know that
His
Josh probably paid for it, just like he pays for everything else.
Listen, I might put my foot down on that one.
I don't know if old Borna Josh gets a check mark.
yeah, that's what's
all hell will break loose. And
verified.
Yep.
The only gold check marking searchers, born a Josh.
Born a Josh.
Still having 100 followers.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we're talking about the Lost Colony of Roanoke. I think it's a very interesting case. Just wanted to talk about it because I know that, we've had history of trying to do something as far as storyline with that. So I thought it'd be cool just to talk about it. A lot of you that are listening probably heard about it before, but if you haven't, you can go and search on it more
Check
online.
it out, yeah.
There's more theories and stuff like that we didn't touch on today. But
again, this is like a staple in the strange and weird, and especially when it comes to America. Yeah, I mean, if you don't know about it, definitely look it up and read about it.
Yep. So anyway, before we sign off today, please again go to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/searchersbelieve if you want to support us monetarily. If you don't want to do that, then you can listen to us on wherever you listen to podcasts for free. And we're releasing episodes and stuff on YouTube for free. Just the Patreon stuff is the behind the scenes stuff. I think we have some perks and I think we're going to be adding some more pretty soon where maybe you can join us on an investigation or on an episode, which would be really cool. And we try to keep the price pretty affordable because we know that times are rough out there and it's tough. It's tough for everybody. So
especially after you've given all your money to Project Fear. We don't
right. Project Fear or, Twitter Blue.
Pockets are tight. No, really, though, the Patreon, we upload these in video format there. People have really loved them. We've been getting a lot of really good feedback on that. So I appreciate the patrons for
the patrons.
For watching.
Yeah, if you're watching the videos, you're seeing all the beer cans. Like we just sit around and we have some beer and we just hang out. It's just what we do, even if a mic's not in our face. Like this is how we talk normally, and that's why now it probably explains how dysfunctional our friendship is.
When we're driving to the locations, we spend 10 hours
talking about this.
Yeah, and we laugh, and that's what's cool is we bring that to y'all. We bring it to you. We're real. That's one thing is we try to stay as humble as possible and we try to stay as real as possible because, that's the best way to be. And just us being fake is not worth it. So, yep. So anyway, thank you for listening to this episode of the Paranormal Mind podcast. Until the next one, Searchers out.
Don't go missing in Roanoke.
See ya.